I want to see you taking in the audience.
Okay.
I know it's a challenge, but I want to see you with the dialogue, then a bit of a rest, and I want to see you actively bringing people in. Okay, which means for the purposes of all this, it's eye contact, it's more thought, it's including your audience, which is what it is about. Can't afford to be diffident in any way at all, because people are here and they're waiting. They want that people are willing to engage. They want to engage, so you just have to encourage, help them along. So go from the end of the dialogue.
Okay. Kifar placed his satchel on the deck, opened it, and took out some small vials. When you reach the state of in-between, these will contain anything that needs to be captured.
Okay, fine.
Googly eyes.
Yeah. Right.
Like what? Let's call them strays.
Okay, and now we're capitalising on all that. You can afford to be a bit louder, project a bit more breath, okay? So I'm going to push you, I'm afraid. So on the dialogue stuff, it's nice, it's light, it's fine, but you can push it out a bit. Push it out a bit, give it a bit more dynamic. That's exactly the same thing I was saying to Jana, really.
Like what? Let's call them strays.
Okay, just a sec, just for a challenge. I want you to shout that. I want to breathe in and just challenge, like a dart.
Like what?
Yeah, fine, but a bit slower, a bit bigger.
Like what?
Great, there we go.
Let's call them strays.
Yeah.
Where shall I put them? I forgot my man bag.
Very good.
Rafiq
Eyes are open.
said.
Great, carry on.
Your what? Never mind.
Good.
Put them in your cloak. My cloak, he felt his skin. There were more pockets down his thighs and waist. Oh, right.
Hang on, that line, there were more pockets. I lost that a bit because it was a bit swallowed. Apart from that, it was all going great. So go from the end of that bit of dialogue and then do there were more pockets. So you've been in the characters, now you're going to go out to the audience or something. Let's hear that syllable by syllable.
He felt his skin. There were more pockets down his thighs and waist.
Right, do again.
Okay. He felt his skin. There were more pockets down his thighs and waist.
Right, hang on. I want you to actually impress that line, small though it is. Right, he felt his skin. There were more pockets. Let's believe it. Let's see if you've got to feel that picture. Okay?
He felt his skin. There were more pockets down the thighs and waist.
It's not bad, but it's still a bit too posh. You want to, there were more pockets. Just make it a bit more, aha. Go on, another go.
My cloak. He felt his skin. There were more pockets down his thighs and waist.
Getting there, carry on.
Oh, right. Well, not so right, but you know. The boat drifted towards a small muddy beach where a man walked his dog and people wandered by a set of waterman's stairs. It is now time for us to part ways temporarily, Kafar said, handing the vials to Rafiq.
Right, it's okay, but he's just
Again,
going a bit
again.
sliding again. It's really good, come on. Right, it's now, so just make sure you give everything full. Wait, just do that bit again.
It is now time for us to part ways temporarily, Kafar said, handing the vials to Rafiq. Here? Yes, don't forget about the vials, okay? Rafiq nodded. You can walk or fly. Kafar stepped onto the water and hovered. I can't do that. I'm not Jesus. Who? Rafiq felt his skin crawling on his back. Something tickled his cheek. He brushed it off. Oh, you have wings, Kafar said.
Let's hold it there. That was terrific, wasn't it? Yeah. Let's talk about, I think a big thing for all of us reading, there's a huge thing, I'm not talking about you either. One is aware of oneself, self-consciousness, I'm not particularly talking about you. And I think the big thing is to be projecting the characters, the people, the story. It's like people who are very shy say that their technique is by focusing on the other person, which is a brilliant technique, isn't it? And you just forget about yourself. So at all times, to be forgetting about oneself, although we're talking about technique and breathing and all that, but it's to be focusing on the ideas and the characters, and also on the audience. And what we're doing is quite delicate and skillful. We're doing a lot of things at the same time. We're telling a story, we're incarnating characters, we're talking to the audience, we're creating an atmosphere of tension, we're bringing them with us. We are, telling a story with all, and now I realise what it means to be a storyteller. It is quite something, isn't it? Using all the skills and enticing and the high points and all that. And I think you certainly, that was 1,000,000 times better. Just to finish, is there a bit of just carry on a bit and just make sure that you're focusing on the ideas and the story and you're bringing us in.
The tattoo wings trembled and lifted away from his back, carrying Rafik from the floor of the boat. He leaned forward and flew a few feet before his surprise.
If we had lots more time,
Yeah.
we'd be walking around, we'd be talking to people, we'd be walking around this space, we'd be literally talking to people. So just do it to me now, do that line again. Just catch me, grab my imagination, and you don't have to be, now I know we've got the department, but you can do stuff with your body, you can, different levels and dimensions and all that. So just now, engage me.
The tattoo wings trembled and lifted away from his back, carrying Rafik off from the floor of the boat. He leaned forward and flew a few feet before his surprise.
Where was he flown? Where? Show me. Show me.
He leaned forward.
Yeah. You can bend your knees.
Okay.
Yeah.
He leaned forward and flew a few feet before his surprise caused him to fall into the water.
Yeah, I think we're just throwing out ideas, but that's such a big image. We don't want to lose it here. I mean, you've got all these dimensions here. You can paint pictures in the air and you can bring people with you. Just do that bit one more time.
The tattoo wings trembled and lifted away from his back, carrying Rafik off from the floor of the boat. He leaned forward and flew a few feet before his surprise caused him to fall into the water, which was more foggy than wet.
Now, it might feel very false, but they always say that. You can take 100% and only 10% anyway will be embodied in you, sort of thing. So it's worth remembering that. You don't have to state the obvious. We can paint these pictures here. You can make it miraculous. Yeah. And I would suggest, if you would like me to make some suggestions, you could do with doing this every single day. If you were going to have a reading in a week, I would suggest you spend half an hour a day walking around, painting these, weaving all this stuff. I think the dialogue takes care of itself. But the big challenge is to tell the story, paint the pictures, engross an audience, and make the whole thing jump alive. All the other stuff, the technical stuff, is another story. But so that's what I think, and my sense is it could be moved. So you could walk around your own room, just reading. Yeah. So you've got a sense of energy and movement. We don't want something to be static. Helpful?
Definitely.